Good evening, people. Welcome to Reaching Out with Eddie. It's been a pretty good week for me. George, I see what Kanye West is on the ballot in Mississippi. I just got to ask people, the title of this show is, are we really that shallow? And most people think that we are, meaning that such as this administration, like Percy Brand, and even perhaps the President of the United States think we're some shallow folk. And most of the time we prove them true. Let's prove everybody wrong this time. We don't need to vote for Kanye West. He doesn't have a snowball chance in hell of winning. There's no way he can win. So it's obvious that the only reason he's on the ballot is to help siphon votes away from Joe Biden and to help Donald Trump win his re-election. I don't think it'll work. I think we need to show him like we've shown other people's in the past. I think we need to, what was his name at one time? I think when Percy ran for mayor the first time, Walter Patton, he ran as an independent. He was paid, I'm told, $10,000 to run as an independent to take black votes away from Percy Bland so that Sherry Berry at that particular time keep her position. I think if we stop scheming so much and just operate under the banner of honor, meaning that instead of trying to cheat and if you do a good job, such as if Percy had gotten in there and done a good job, then he wouldn't have to perhaps go out and scheme and try to buy people or do last minute things. It's showing that they don't have a lot of respect for us. Nobody does. And we got to prove them wrong. We need to hold our elected officials accountable. We need to not show that we are a shallow individual. We need to show that we're able to make choices, that we're not going to be fooled. We're not going to be bamboozled. Right now, the best thing for us, the best thing, like in this case, let's talk on a local level and a national level. On a national level, the person that should not be elected is Donald Trump, because he promotes racism. Under his watch, white supremacy groups have just risen up. At least it used to be a term, and it still is, political correct. It wasn't political correct for you to say certain things and do certain things and act in a certain manner. But under his administration, you can say and do whatever you want to do and be any kind of way you want to be. We can't have that. Do you folks realize that we've had more racial incidents under this administration, under Donald Trump's administration, than we have had under any other administration, except we go way back to the 1950s and 60s, when black folks started becoming aware of the difference, that separate wasn't equal, that there was a white superiority, there was a white privilege, all these things, all these terms, black power, all these terms came about during the 60s, and when black people was aware, and there was a lot of young folks that done that. And back then, like now, it was the old folk that stood in our way in the way of progression, in the way of being progressive, in the way of change. It's always been older folks that's done that. At some point in time, you got to sit down. You got to go and sit in your rocking chair or just go see the world. But we need to give up these jobs for younger people. How can the young folks ever be ready? We've had our chance to make this world a better place, and we've done our best or we've done our worst. Either way, right now, today, we're in dire straits on a national level and on a state level. On a local, I don't know so much, well, state level too. I have to say that. Mississippi probably wouldn't care if every signature that Kanye West presented to them was forged. They wouldn't care. They was going to put him on the ballot. Well, the only way Mississippi can help Joe Biden is that by the winning the popular vote, meaning that only thing Kanye West can do is take some of the popular votes away from Joe Biden, but the electoral college for sure it's going to go with Donald Trump. There's no way it's not going to. We have a supermajority in the House and in the Senate, meaning that Democrats that are there, they're lamer than a lame duck. They don't have any say-so or any. Only thing they can do, I guess, just go through the motions or hope. Maybe it's kind of like when Jesus is sitting at the table and at the Last Supper. Anytime they feast during those times, and even now when we feast, we give the slop to the hogs and we throw the scraps of meat and food to the dogs. And so it's kind of like what they're doing in the Senate and in the House with the state of Mississippi. They throw them scraps of meat because they don't have to give them anything. They can do whatever they want to do, have their way. And the only reason why we're getting this flag change is because so many companies was pulling their business from the state of Mississippi. Excuse me. And it take that for a change to take place. And you can see in other places they're perhaps not as oppressed as we are in the state of Mississippi, but in the state of Mississippi, we're the last one to stand up and fight for something. We won't even fight for each other. We will fight each other. We'll go against each other, but we won't stand up for each other. I've been feeling better, folks. I think that I'm getting used to, my dilemma. I think that I'm okay. I have the support of a loving family, very large family. We met this weekend, and my mother died a year ago, and so it was my daughter's Arizona birthday, and I see Martin Jack's birthday was today, I think, the 8th. If the day is today is the 8th. So today is Martin Jack's birthday. So happy birthday to Martin Jack, and happy birthday to my daughter. Yesterday, and anybody else who has a birthday out there. Well, that daughter of mine, my oldest daughter, and how about I have these different generation of children? So the baby girl from the first generation is Katara, and my oldest daughter and child is Tracy. Well, they was in Texas this weekend having fun. I kind of saw some of the things. And I got to tell you, I'm deviating a little bit, and we'll get back talking about are we that shallow. My grandbaby, I seen her dog. Dice, this is a German Shepherd, had on, let me see. She had a little hat on the dog, shirt, it didn't look everything but like a German Shepherd. It didn't even look like a poodle. Poor dog, I feel sorry for the dog, but it was funny. Grandbaby, don't do that to that dog. His clothes on the dog, on a German Shepherd, he's vicious. He's supposed to be, she done turned him into a little pants, and he ain't gonna do nothing. He gonna see that, he gonna look at that outfit he has on. If he ever see that picture, he's gonna be traumatized for life. But anyway, I thought that was cute. I be looking at the Facebook messages and things like that, and sometimes I respond and sometimes I don't. I saw my mother. I see my daughter. I be seeing things like that, and I don't respond. But I just gotta say I have a loving and caring family, and I want to send my condolences to everybody that lost family this past week, such as Michael Moore and the Dice Man, Ricky Dancer. The last time I saw him, I think I was buying a casket from him, or either somebody was trying to buy one. They made it difficult for him to be in that business because he was underselling everybody else. But one thing I can say he did do is all the funeral homes around here had to go down on the price of their caskets because of him. He did that. She did. They had to in order to keep getting that business because, boy, he was selling them, as y'all say out there, my sister, dirt cheap. But anyway, black people, do not vote for Kanye West. Do not vote for him. I mean, please don't do that. I mean, as a matter of fact, you should not even buy his music. He has too much money. See, his mama had so much money, she didn't know what to do with it, and she started cutting on her body. And, of course, because of toxic shock or something else going on, she didn't make it out of that. He has too much money, but obviously, folks, we got to show him that we don't care how important you are or how much we like your music. We're not going to allow for you to bamboozle us and lead us in a direction that we should not go. And enough said about that, but let's turn it on a local level. Percy Bland, it's the same with you. We're not going to allow for you to bamboozle us. Last week I was telling Twin that he was not too smart, and I stopped. So I want to continue talking about him not being that smart and going down with the ship. And the reason why I say that, because, man, your first obligation is to yourself. You got to make sure you're okay so that you can make sure your family okay. Your obligation is not to Percy Bland. You better make a deal with the feds. Do you know if you make a deal with the feds, they're not going to send you anywhere. The more you give them, the more they're going to give you. When you the feds on a point system, when you get arrested by the feds or the feds want to talk to you, they want to know what can you give them. And the better the information you give them, or the more information you give them, the better off it's for you. Now, you know the things you did in order to become a convicted felon. I hate to bring up the past, but what compels you or cause you to be a convicted felon is that you love your wife so much that you start spying on her in such a way that it caused you to do something that not only was inappropriate, but a violation of her privacy, but it was illegal. And so you end up being a convicted felon, with the thing. So do you really, if you have these kind of feelings with your wife, man, you have a beautiful wife. Do you want your wife to be here alone to manage herself? I mean, wow, really, man, you have a beautiful wife, man. You have a loving family. You better look out for your family, and don't let person look that shame, sad, weak-looking face look at you and make you go and do something, because guess what? They ain't going to even have y'all in the same cell. He probably like being in prison because we know about your activities, person. We know that you're gay, so you probably like being there. They'll make you into somebody. You're not going to get in no kind of protected custody or anything like that. You're going to have to do some time. And I just wondering why is it taking so long for the Fed. Well, I guess they building a real good case against you. But I strongly suggest you, Terrell and Darrell, both of y'all. Darrell, don't let Percy go and pay for your attorney fee. Man, you better make you a deal. I'm finna tell y'all one of my stories. How you doing, Two Belt? How you doing, Miss Two Belt? Before I tell my story, boy, Dice, man, do you know how hard it is to love a black woman?
Yes, sir. I know.
It's hard as hell. If you be nice to them, they wonder why you being nice. Why can't we just be nice to them, Dice? Why you being nice? You must be done did something. You got something to hide. Why you want to come over my house? Why can't I come over here? Somebody must been in your bed. I ain't never coming back there anymore. Wow, man, those kind of things, it takes a lot of patience to deal with some people, Dice. You know that? It really does. But Dice, man, I got to say this about black mothers. What's wrong with them? Now, I'm going to talk about two particular cases that I know about. I know of black mothers taking men into their home, putting them above their children now. These men don't have a job. And y'all excuse me, they don't have nothing but, I'm going to say it in an educated way, they don't have nothing but either a flaccid or a turgid penis. That's all they have. And that's all they bring to the table. They come into a home, and here's one thing it does, is that the children watching parents. They watching every time you bring somebody into their home. They watch it. They don't want, guys just explicitly, they just hate when men come and try to tell them to do something they're not their dad. But mothers will continue to doing that. They'll continue to bringing guys into their home. These are little boys. They sit down and play games that either some dad or either the mother done bought for that child, and they sit in there playing games, and and in some cases taking the games out of the house and maybe even pawning it. This is a true story. I bought my son iPhone SE. For those of you out there don't know, iPhone SE is actually, they took the frame of the iPhone 8 and put the guts of an iPhone 11 inside of it. So the iPhone SE has the technology of the exact same technology, the system and everything as an iPhone 11. I bought my son one dice, and I gave it to his mother to, to sign up with iCloud. I get the phone back about a week later, and the phone been used. I'm talking about a brand new phone been used with a lot of numbers on it. I would have suggested to that person before they gave that phone back to me, they probably should have called that number. But it's something wrong with black mothers when they bring men into their home over their children. I mean, I can't get that. I can't get that at all.
Bro, I see the cycle. Talked about it so many times, and people hate for me to talk about it, but I'm going to say it anyway. We've been taught to focus on the young men, but I say we need to get a hold to the girls, the young women, because they have the influence over the men.
And they're enabling the men.
Mm-hmm, exactly. So if your daughter chooses a knucklehead, I'm just going to say it the old school way.
That's right.
And she already has a child by another knucklehead. Now, the child is innocent in the whole matter.
That's right.
But that child is watching what's going on. That child's going to follow suit, whether it be a young son or a young daughter. They're going to follow suit. So our women control whether that cycle continues or stops. And there was a quote that somebody said, I can't remember who said it, but it says, "No nation can rise any higher than its women." That's where we're stuck at. When I look at it, and it's so sad because I see these beautiful young children, man. And I just know, based on looking at the parents a lot of times, what's going to happen to that child. That child is going to get messed up before they even get a chance to really live.
And I agree with that. And I've seen it in my interacting with in previous relationship, current relationship, where the mother loved the little boys to death. They baby the boys, they let them do what they want to do, won't hold them accountable and things like that. It is so hard for us to love our children equally, but we got to love our children fairly. We cannot sing one out against the other. We cannot do those things. Another thing, too, leaving your children at home while you leave and go out of town. Wow, Dice, I've been out of town twice. Once I went by myself, but the time I go out of town, I take my children with me. My children are more important than me leaving and going and laying up with some female or whomever. And I don't mean that as a pun, but I just look at my baby mamas and other mothers going out of town and staying till it's time for the children to go to school. In one case, one of my baby mamas ain't even back yet. Left last week and ain't back yet. And that's a sorry mother. And I'm at a crossroad where I'm going to have to do something, because if I don't, then my child will fall through the crack. I've been babysitting all over. I mean, that's one reason why I'm in such a good mood, because I've been spending time with my children. And, boy, my daughter just ain't going. That oldest child of mine, boy, I might read that text she sent me. It's kind of like my mother told me something. Anyway, well, she gave me very good advice. All my children, they give me good advice, and it doesn't matter what my children's age are. They're very wise, and they give me very good advice. And some of them called me to help, and, hey, I love that because, hey, I'm going to help family out. That's just one of the things that I do, whether it's a daughter, granddaughter, grandson, niece, or nephew. But these are the things that perplex me when another thing, too, women. Damn it, y'all stop letting your boys' hair grow so damn long. I just got to tell you that. What is it? What is this fixation on hair, Dice? What's this fixation on hair? Man, if I cut my son's hair, I'll probably have to fight their mama. I'm telling you the truth.
Well, I'm going to tell you what happened to me. It's always been there, because back in the 70s, children would have long, and we had the afros back then anyway. It was just going into the smaller afros and the shags. But my dad snuck me off to Clayton barbershop on 5th, and my mama to this day talk about it, because she had me with that long hair, and he came to pick me up and ended up taking me to Clayton's, and I don't know. It's something with that. I
It's
think they
probably
think it's
something that
just
I'm gonna do. I can tell you, I have a nephew. I mean, I have a cousin. My first cousin's son. His name is Darius. This is a cousin of mine, and he's gay, but he didn't grow up being gay. His mama didn't want his haircut. She had him going to school looking like a little girl and all that kind of stuff. You got a baby, a boy looking like a little girl, and it ain't gonna be long before he start acting like a little girl. And when his grandmama died, I promise I thought Prince was at the funeral. He was there. Well, I mean, he was all extravagant and everything, and they was kind of like embarrassed. But you weren't embarrassed by him when you was growing his hair real long. Say, oh, he got a nice grade of hair. The hair got to be long. So mothers, I got to say this to you: your son, hair. Let little boys be little boys, little girls be little girls. And hey, let's love all our children the same. Let's love them the same. Now let's treat them fairly.
Let me step on some toes right quick.
Go ahead, step on them.
Same thing with these young boys. By the time they get to the prom, man, if you've seen these prom pictures, man, they're ridiculous. The boys look more feminine than the girls. That's not necessarily the men's fault. I know it's not any real men around because a real man ain't going to allow for that. I'm trying to say this without blaming it on the women, but we have to hold them accountable because they have the power. We don't. Even with the court system, we go to a court system, we're fighting the woman and the court system for our children.
That's right.
So the women have the power. When you start that young boy being emotional, having feminine ways, of course you know what he's going to turn out. But if you let a man come around and you let that man show him some things, then maybe he'll be a man. But the number one thing is, why is your little child in skinny jeans? Why is your little child switching and having an attitude and rolling his neck, and you're not putting that in check? You think that's cute for everybody.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's got to stop. And one more thing, while we on it, our women are letting the gates open for young white boys to come in and be with our daughters. Somebody don't like me saying that.
But I love you saying it because it bothers me. I don't like it. I ain't going. Y'all hear? I got a lot of children. All mine's better keep it 100. I'm telling you, got to. I don't want my boys to be gay, and I damn sure don't want my daughters or my sons dating outside of their race.
Right, exactly. If you found love and it was a natural thing, yeah. But it ain't natural when everybody's going out in droves, getting them a white boy, or letting their children go to the prom with a white boy. What are you setting up? You setting up a situation where your grandchild is not going to look like you.
That's right.
Yeah, it's cute to you. He has these eyes and this hair.
But that hadn't gotten any of us anywhere. Not nowhere. Eyes and hair, nowhere.
Nowhere. So I just wanted to say that, man. It's our women have to be held accountable for some of the choices they're making because they affect everybody else.
And I agree. And folks, we're going to open the phone lines up so you can call in and you can get in on this. Or you leave your comments in the chat. But, you know, naturally, it's close to home for me, so it's personable. I've been trying to cut my little boys' hair ever since, man, they're like 7 and 8 now. I've been trying to cut their hair ever since they was like 2 and 3, and I've been running into opposition with the mom. And today she hung a phone up in my face because she put their hair in like in a big ponytail like a girl. And she knew I have a problem with that. I have a problem. If you're not going to take time to do their hair and make it look like a man, then it need to be cut. I can keep it cut. Right. You know, and you know, folks, and it just, you know, it's not just me that's going through this. A lot of you out there are going through the same thing. You're making your boys effeminate, and then when they grow up and they bring a man home with them and acting like that's their best friend and all the time that's their lover, then you're going to be mad and upset and everything. The only thing you can do is just look in the mirror. Look at the mirror and find fault in yourself. That's one thing that I do. I like to challenge all of you out there to look into the mirror and see what you see. See, the harsh face of reality is true. So look in the mirror and see what you see. If you look in the mirror, I ain't talking about fake it. I'm talking about look in the mirror and see what you see, and where do you find fault and where do you need to implement change. And I just had to talk about that because it's one of the things, and I'm gonna keep talking about this one thing, Dice. I gotta tell the people, the person I just hated that, and it's my daughter, mother. She's been gone for a week, and my little girl stayed here today. And folks, I know what y'all want to say. Miss Tuba, shut up, shut up, shut up. I know what y'all want to say. Well, bro, it's your child too. But you got to understand, folks, I'm not the custodial parent. Since I'm not the custodial parent, now as a parent, I have a certain obligation. But as a custodial parent, it is the custodial parents, it is their duty to make sure that child is in school and that child go to school. That's the custodial parent. If that custodial parent cannot do that, then the courts need to change it. And I got to tell you about the state of Mississippi. It's got some of the worst child protective system for protecting the child in the state of Mississippi. They just don't give a damn, folks. And I'm going to tell you why they don't care. Because it's our children that's falling through the crack. It is our children that need protection. It is our children that need order. And they just don't care. They don't care at all. I called a social worker last week, and she told me the case had been closed on my daughter. Wow, man. And I've heard some things from my daughter. So they closed the case. Tell them other things. Well, the mother been gone a week. We don't care about that. If they left her with a hobo, she left her with somebody, we don't care. They ain't got nowhere to sleep. We don't care about that. Is she sleeping on a pallet? The state of Mississippi is always the worst when it comes to everything. And that comes to leadership, leadership, leadership. It comes from people being intimidated by people with education. And so if you're educated and somebody that's less educated than you going to do everything they can to interfere with you being in a position of authority or being over them. So you have a whole bunch of not necessarily uneducated redneck, but you have a lot of uneducated Negroes too that are in those positions. It's holding this state back. It's so backward, and it's being held back because of a lack of education. And because of that, our children are falling through the cracks. When our children fall through the cracks, we're falling through the cracks too, people. And we got to do something about that. And one way we do that is we're going to have to hold things accountable. We're going to be taking us a break in a few minutes. But one thing I just got to reiterate, folks. I want y'all to put on your Facebook page, No to Kanye West. No to Kanye West. It's up to you guys to promote this thing. We need to not vote for him. Do not let that send that nigga on down the road of insignificance, and we're gonna send a person down the road of insignificance too. And when I come back, we're gonna play us a song. When I come back, we're gonna read those comments, and we're gonna talk about some other things, and I'm gonna talk about my administration. Dice Man, take us to break.
I want to tune into you and you into
Folks, welcome back to Reaching Out with Eddie. My first part of my show, I was just talking about how we failed our children. One of the things, and I have to say, we'll fail men. Our problem is that we're not taking responsibility for our sperm, for our seed. It is our seed for us to direct and instruct it on the way it should be. That's our seed. And females, you should appreciate a man like me not wanting my son to look like a little girl in a ponytail. It's thing, the Dice Man and I was talking, and we talk off there, and one of the things that he pointed out, and I agree with him, is that it's all about respect, that she should respect that the father does not want his child looking like a little girl. So I know one day that he gonna be bringing a girl home and not a little boy home. I've seen it so many times in my life, Dice. And it's not no argument that I'm trying to win. I don't care about losing an argument when it comes to the betterment of our children. I want our children to be okay. I don't want to win an argument. I don't want to be the one to come across as always knowing it all, always right. I want our children. When I say our children, folks, look at me. I'm talking about our children. They are our children. We all have children out there. And we can't suffer our children because they're there. When the Bible says, suffer not the little children, for theirs are the kingdom of God. Suffer not our children because the future is theirs for tomorrow. If we suffer our children and don't do right by them, we're destroying tomorrow for them and for us. Dice Man, what about those comments?
See what we got here. All right, Loretta Bennett says greetings.
What up, Lo?
What's up, Loretta?
Lo, who was it? The 3-year-old? I didn't call and ask her, Dice. I read in the paper where a 3-year-old was killed. I said probably happened out west somewhere. A 3-year-old was shot and killed. I bet Lolo knows. So, Lo, go ahead on and put that little comment down there. We know you know.
Okay, Crystal Harris says, good evening. Looking good, Dad. Great jeans.
Hey, baby.
All Gas, No Break 81 says, good evening, y'all.
All gas, no brakes. I got to tell you this. I don't care how bad I'm feeling. When I hear your name, I'm always laughing. That is so original. I like that.
All right. What's up, All Gas? Tracy Holt says, good evening, y'all.
Hey, baby.
What's up, Tracy?
That's my mama right there. She said, I said, yes, ma'am.
Ellen Franklin says, good evening, peeps. What's up, Miss Franklin?
Hey, Marie. We miss you. I miss you, Marie.
We miss you.
Yeah.
Sam Bell says, Assalamu alaikum, my brothers.
Wa alaikum assalam, Sam. And peace be unto you.
That's Bro Bell in the house. Loretta Bennett also says, notice Donald Trump have yet to attack Kanye West. Politics.
That's right.
Very true.
And that's the reason why we got to be vigilant. We got to make sure that we got to make sure Kanye West has another mental breakdown, because he has those from time to time. But once he found out that he can't control people like he think he can. I ain't never liked his music anyway.
Okay. Felicia Brown says, hello, Eddie and Dice Man.
Hey, Felicia.
Hello, Miss Felicia. Ellen Franklin also says, long hair is in our culture. That is true.
It's okay, but I think it's the way it's presented. It's got to look like a little boy. They got a lot of styles in there. They can keep their hair. I don't mind them keeping their hair. I just want it cut somewhere. I need to see a line somewhere. Yeah, I need to see masculinity. I don't need to see little girlish.
Took it right out of my mouth. It's all in how you wearing it.
Yeah.
Loretta Bennett also says grown men wear those tight leg pants too. That's true, and I don't understand it.
Dice, I wear them sometimes too. For me, it's like a magnet.
All right, bro.
Don't ask me to explain, but ask me to explain. I'll explain it.
Okay, explain.
You have to dress like I always said this before. You dress for the job you want. You have to dress. I don't like old women, so old women don't like skinny leg pants. That's enough about that. Oh, no, you can go ahead and give a comment. That's just me. I'm through. Yeah, that's right.
They got to love me for who I am. I'm going to stick to what a man is and what a man does.
That's who I am now.
Yeah, right. I'm not taking that from you.
I just changed the styles. Styles change. We change, and for people some people change with the style. That's what I've always done. As the styles change, I always change with the style.
Right.
And but some people don't do that. You know, like my friend Johnny, he still dressed like he did in the '70s. You know.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I'm guilty. Same way.
So you dressing like you dress in the what?
Well, I keep up with the styles, but I pick and choose what I'm going to do because any kind of wavering.
I think that's a cultural thing. It's a cultural thing.
What is? What's a cultural thing?
This skinny leg jeans, I think it's something. I think wasn't it Pharrell and Robin Thicke that started that? I don't know who started it. I just they ain't got to be too tight, but I don't want to be like a stovepipe.
Right. We talking about a system, man, that puts famous people in front of us and influences our folks. How many times have we seen our folks on the ground? I'm talking about the police are behind them.
That's
They're
right.
laying flat on the ground, and they buttocks
Yeah,
are stuck out.
yeah.
Some grown man with some little girl pants on.
But that ain't what I do, because I
Right.
think the pants should be above the waist, because you got to be able to move around. You got to be
See.
comfortable, and most people can't move around. They have to walk with their legs out like a bad cowboy in order to hold the pants up, because the pants somewhere around their thigh. Now I don't do that, but I don't know. My thing is that to each his own. I'm pro-choice.
Yeah, there you go. Now everybody do have that. Okay, let's see where we at. KD Too Real says, "Good evening, gentlemen. Keep speaking big facts."
What's up, nephew?
Okay, Tristan B. Hampton says, "Good evening, Mr. Holt and Dice."
Hey, Tristan.
What's up, Tristan?
I'm already gonna get stabbed by 2 or 3 times. I ain't got nothing to say today, Tristan.
Leave it alone, bro.
She got some, Tristan, you got some magical eyes. I have to say that. When I hear her name, I see her eyes. I never put a face to the name, and I saw her at the protest on City Hall lawn, and I saw the eyes. So every time I hear the name, now I see her face.
Did you have a mask on?
I saw her eyes. Yeah, we had to.
Okay, all right. Yeah. I was just trying to see if you could really see.
Oh, I saw her eyes. You can see her eyes. If she just had on a Zorro mask, you still see her eyes. I'm going to get cut for sure now.
Okay. Jeffro, wait a minute, let me say it right. Jeffro Baby Entertainment. Not sure how to pronounce that. But anyway, they say, "What's up, guys? First time joining, looking forward to more. Welcome."
Well, thank you for subscribing, and thank you for tuning in. We're going to get that name right, too.
That's right. That's right. Rita Jack says, "Thanks to you, Mr. Eddie Gray, for your and the public support. I realize more so today than I ever did in the past 1, 2, 3 months that the public's attention to the Civil Service Commission meeting was no doubt to support me. Thanks."
That's right. Well, I just got to say kudos to you, too, because it takes a certain amount of strength, a certain degree of cojones. You don't we just going to say, you got to have some balls and even some fear. I mean, you got to have the right family support, and you had all that, but you always have stood up for what's right in this city and for yourself and your family, and for that we love you and we appreciate you, and we'll continue standing behind you in your endeavor to get those unjust things done right. We appreciate you, and you're most certainly welcome, and we're going to always be there for you and for your family and for everyone else. We got Anthony Ball, too, that's going through something, and we got Loretta Allen, Mike Allen, going through things as a result of this corrupt administration. We just going to stay there until we set things right in our city. We really appreciate you guys.
Okay, Loretta Bennett says, "Johnny Sims still wearing those Sam fashion suits from the 80s.
That's right.
I ain't laughing at you, Johnny.
Hey, he know how to wear them now. That's a spoke
Yeah,
now.
nah,
He's
he
a
be
spoke.
spoken.
You
Can't
ain't going
take
to
that
beat
from
him.
him. Right. Tristan B. Hampton says, "I appreciate that. Thank you."
Oh, boy. I'm going to get cut for real. Oh, you're welcome. I mean, she got pretty eyes. They're very unique. I don't know what color they are. She likes stars, like green emeralds, stars.
Yeah, she's pretty. Rita Jack also says, "I am truly blessed to have the love of the community. As such, I am forever grateful to each and every one of you. I'm especially grateful to Miss Loretta Allen Bennett for her unwavering support.
That's right. And we got to say this, that we didn't just give that to you, Rita. You earned it. You earned it. In those 20 years, we all got to know you and love you, and we knew your professionalism. We knew your honesty. We knew your integrity. And we were not going to allow, and we're still not going to allow that administration not only to mistreat you, to treat you unfairly, unjust, illegally. We're not going to allow this administration to do that to anyone.
And that's it, man. The phone lines are open.
Yeah, the phone lines are open. Oh, Marie, the phone lines are open. The Dice Man gonna let you call in and give a comment. One thing I wanted to talk about is the initiative 65 that's coming up in the ballot. I got a text from our representative Chuck Young, and what he was saying is that, and I think I want to let you guys know the differences between the two. You have an opportunity to vote for medical marijuana, and they went out and got the 2,000 votes, 200,000 signatures to put it on the ballot to create an initiative. And the Super House and the Super Senate is trying to play with us. They have 65 and they have 65A. 65A is very restrictive. It's only placed on the ballot to confuse you. So folks, read carefully and do not pick Initiative 65A. If you're going to vote for medical marijuana, and I think it should. Again, I'm pro-choice. I think if people want to smoke marijuana and they got a list of 22 illnesses that you can have, I think if you have a headache every now and then, you can get you a stamp and the doctor give you a license and you can go and buy it. But if you check by mistake 65A, it's designed to confuse people, and not only that, it would be restricted to terminal ill folks only, meaning that only a person that's terminally ill would be able to get a license or get a sticker to get medical marijuana, and it can only be administered by a licensed physician or someone like that. So again, they're trying to put it on the ballot and want you to sign for something that's not. Understand, if anybody terminally ill, they ain't signed for this thing. So most of the people sign for this thing are people that are not terminally ill, because if you're terminally ill, you wouldn't have been able to sign any kind of petition because you wouldn't be able to get out of the house. So why should anybody, I mean, you know, I'm not trying to be not callous and not care about anyone, but what I'm saying is that make sure you guys pay attention that they're putting it on there. The supermajority, these Trump supporters have put it on there so as a way, again, not denying you a choice. And if you want this to be a medical marijuana state, then it'll be 7% tax charged on it. You'll be able to go to the dispensary. They'll have stores, shops be pulling up just like the lotto shops. We got the lottery, might as well have medical marijuana. Dice, what do you have to say about that?
I wasn't necessarily.
Well, medical marijuana, they're getting ready to vote in November for medical marijuana, and they have two initiatives on there, 65 and 65A. 65A is more restrictive, and you have to be terminally ill in order to get a prescription for medical marijuana, and only a licensed person could give it to you or sell it to you, whereas with 65, you can have 22 different things being wrong with you, including terminally ill patient. And you'll be able to get a license, and you can go to any shop or dispensary and pick it up, as long as you got the tag.
Mm-hmm. Well, I just think a lot of that is ironic now, especially looking back at how many people have been convicted over the years for the marijuana use. I know that's two different things that we're talking about, but that's my only take on that. You know, people have always used it for healing purposes.
Right.
You know.
That's right.
But that's the only problem I see with that. It's been what do they call it? Commercialized.
Yeah.
Where the industry wants to make money off of it now.
And they got marijuana out there now that's so strong, folks. I promise you, it is so strong. There's no way this stuff that they call loud does not have chemicals on it. Right. Nephew, I know a lot of my nephews and some of my sisters and family, most of my family, smoke it, man. I'm telling you. And it's addictive, and they can't quit. How can a person afford to pay? They need to have this. It needs to be legalized. The reason why I say that, because now it's illegal. And it's destroying so many families, meaning that these mothers are addicted to this stuff, and they can't pay their light bill, water bill, and gas bill. 1 gram of this stuff costs $10, and that's like 2 blunts. And people that smoke that stuff might smoke at least 1 blunt, 2 blunts a day. That's $300 a month.
All your money up.
I mean, you're working part time. You're making $100 and some a week. How can you afford to pay light bill, water bill, and gas bill? And so a lot of people in our community are not paying their bills, but they laying in their bed sedated every day while their children in there on those games.
And the smell ain't even good, bro. Hey,
Yeah,
you
no.
ever smelled it?
Oh man, you know I done smelled
Funky.
it. Yeah, you can smell it. If I don't have people pass by me in their vehicle and I smelled it.
Yeah.
People come around me, if you smoked it, I can tell it. Anybody that don't smoke, you'll be able to tell it whenever. So the police get a lot of buzz like that by smelling. Once they smell that, that gives them probable cause. I want to talk about the COVID just a little bit. COVID is something that I can tell you the last 2 days I was sick. I mean, I had all the symptoms of COVID. And now the same symptoms of COVID and pneumonia, they're identical, except that with COVID, you'll lose your sense of smell and your sense of taste. So I didn't lose that. But for us, like the sneezing, I don't know whether I had a fever or not. I don't think so. But I know I was sneezing. I couldn't stop sneezing. Then I had a little slight headache, and then I had the aches, and then I got the stuffy nose, all the symptoms of the flu. So, or a common cold. And you know, like when I heard my sister say so many times her sinus was draining, I didn't know what she was talking about, but I experienced that. That's when you have a cold and it comes from your head and it goes down into your lower body. And so I did have some of that happen where it went into my chest. And so, but I said to say this, that you guys know that there are 12 deadly viruses. And believe it or not, MERS, COVID, is at the top. The Marburg virus is near the top. You have what you call MERS COVID. That's the Middle East respiratory syndrome. They call it the MERS COVID. 30 to 40% of the people die from that. And you have Marburg, which is 25 to 80% mortality rate. You have Ebola virus, which is 50 to 70% mortality rate. And then you have rabies, destroys the brain, a really bad disease. 100% of the people die from that to catch that. And you have HIV. 32 million people have died in Africa, and it has in Africa 1 in 25 people have HIV, and over 32. And since they found out about it, I think it was 1989, 32 million people have died from it. Smallpox, the mortality rate is 1 in 3, and in the 20th century, over 300 million people died from smallpox. And then you had a hantavirus with 30% mortality rate. And this is a pulmonary shortness of the breath. And then you have influenza. You see where I'm going with this, folks? 500,000, up to 500,000 people die from influenza every year, and there's a vaccine for it. The problem with that is that it keeps mutating. And if they say if a new strand of the influenza come out, it'll be really, really bad for the world. And then they have the dung virus, 2 to 5% mortality rate. And then you have the rotavirus, which creates diarrhea. Now then you get to COVID. With the COVID, you have COVID, you have SARS-CoV. That stands for Severe Acute Respiratory Syndrome. That's the first one that came out. The ones affecting everybody now is SARS-CoV-2. All these were started in China, and SARS-CoV-2 started in 2019 in Wuhan, China. Now, so far, you can look at the statistics from it, but folks, what I'm pointing out to you is that so many of you are so afraid of COVID, and there's so many other things that you could be afraid of. Now, I'm not telling you to throw your mask away. I'm not telling you any of these things, but you got to ask yourself what's really going on. When you have flu, that nobody's getting in a panic and upset about the flu, and every year they have to add something else to the flu because it keeps mutating every year. And so even if you take the vaccine, there's still no guarantee that you won't come down with influenza. But we don't put masks on our face, and believe it or not, the only way that you can protect yourself against influenza is by wearing a mask. So the COVID protects you against influenza the same way, wearing a mask and 6 feet away. Because if you sneeze, what they're saying, that the droplets from a sneeze can go, however, 120 miles per hour, but it'll go about 5 feet before it drops down to the ground. So they say you stay right out of distance, 6 feet away. So just ask yourself really what's going on. So our children are going back to school, and I heard some people in my family say they don't need to go back to school. The irony in that is that both of these people that were talking, both of them are retired and don't have children in school. They forgot about the fact that parents have to stay there with those children to be able to teach those lessons to those children, answer those questions that those children is going to have. What about the parent that have to go to work? That parent can't go to work now. That parent is really this is really was a nightmare for our children. Our children had a vacation, what they did, because most of them either couldn't get online or didn't get online. Only a few of them benefit from the online classes. But it was a nightmare and a headache for the parents. So there's nothing that we need to do. Now, I say this is the new normal, meaning that some of us going to be educated at home, and some of us going to go to school, but you cannot take the place of the brick and mortar. You cannot take the place of a teacher being in that classroom, and it is her job to make sure that child learn. And when that child don't know, she has an assistant in there that will assist her with those children. They have different programs for special education, special services. Parents are not trained to identify special services or anything like that. So it was a very bad idea from a very bad administration and a very bad administrator. One of the things that they could have done is they could have given anybody that's eligible to receive free lunch is also eligible to receive free internet. They could have done that and paid for that, so a lot of the children didn't have internet and could not afford the internet. So, and how about putting Wi-Fi hotspot? None of these was done. So it was not a very thought out situation. It was not very good. How about children having to keep up with their power cord? Lose one, you got to pay $25 to get another one. Really, school system. How do I know this, too, Bell? Because my son misplaced his power cord. I called the school for a replacement. They said, as soon as you bring us $25, you can get a replacement. What the hell is really going on? You mean to tell me that I got to give you $25? Yes, Miss Toolbelt, I had it. But no, I did not pay it. You mean to tell me public education is supposed to be free? Public education is supposed to be free and public. So if I go down there, in other words, my son had to make other arrangements to get his education through a computer because he lost the power cord to his Chromebook. So, but the school system, in order to get another power cord, you got to pay $25. So they don't really care when they create chaos in our community and chaos with our children. It is our children that's falling through the crack. So don't be so worried about your children catching COVID, because it's not much. It's the only difference between it and influenza. And you're not afraid of influenza, is that your child needs to be in school. I'm on the side of putting our children in that schoolroom and letting that child, if our child gets sick, there's only a 2.3. Y'all hear me? Listen at me. Damn it, I'm going to say it again. There's only a 2.3% mortality rate for COVID-19. Y'all hear that? 2.3. And because of that, you're going to keep your child out of school? So you got to ask yourself, what the hell really is going on here? Most people, I told you guys initially on an earlier show that I had, that I had children that exhibit some of the symptoms of COVID. The doctor sent them home. UAB is among the better schools in the nation. Sent them back home. So, folks, what's really going on here? That's the reason why the Republicans don't want to give y'all this money. The hell we going to give these niggas money for? What we giving these folks money for? These ain't number deadbeat. This is our money. Why should we give them our money? It ain't going to kill them. Ain't nobody dying. Yeah, the numbers up there, but just look at all these other numbers I just read. Every year, up to 500,000 people die from influenza. We're not talking about how many of them go to the hospital. They ain't quarantined anything on influenza. And what about Ebola? They still don't have a cure. All these things I mentioned, they don't have a cure for it. But we're not upset and we're not running and hiding because of that. Some of you out there still want to go to Africa. I know some of you out there inboxing them African women. Don't y'all go for them card games either. That ain't nothing but trying to get to your account so they can get your personal information. Then you'll be wondering how your bank account zeroed out because, man, them Africans are smart. You know this is the mother of civilization, so you know they smart. I'm telling you, don't y'all go for it. So I just wanted to point all these things out to you. And Dice, were there any more comments? Look at that while I just talk about a little bit, few things here. I'm going to get on the agenda for the city council. One of the things I want to talk about is I want to talk about why should I pay the city of Meridian money to put their equipment on the city right away. And so that's one of the things I'm going to talk about. But again, folks, when I said that I might run for mayor, it's something that I thought about, and even running against Dwayne Johnson. I hope that Western Linderman don't think, huh? Thank you, Dice man, correct. Dwayne Davis. I be saying Dwayne Johnson. I be saying Tyrone Davis. I get the two mixed up. I guess I don't think they're one and the same. They're not. So I don't even want to misconstrue that. But anyway, I actually was thinking about that. So I got to talk about my platform. And even if I was a city council person, one of the things that I would push for is that all the different boards go through a transition, that they need to be changed out. But say if I was to be, if I run for mayor and I'm elected for mayor, one of the things that I would do, I would change out most department heads. And I want to tell you that I have to say most. The reason why I say most department heads, because maybe one or two might stay. And the reason why, I don't know though, Two Belt, you know how it is. Maybe all of them need to be changed out, because if you're going in with a new administration, you gotta bring in all new people with you. You gotta bring in people that you trust. If you're gonna take this city through a transition, a necessitated transition, then I think it's necessary that all those department heads change out. Yes, I like you, Stacy, but I couldn't keep you. The reason why I couldn't keep you is because if I go in and I gotta trust the people that I have with me, and I can only trust people that I know that are coming in with me. And so I would have to create a new system. I would have to change out all the department heads and those people that are protected by civil service. Then we'll probably try to offer you a severance package. Some of you that are protected by civil service, I've seen you out there in front of the airport. I've seen you to the golf course. I've seen you to somewhere out of sight, out of mind. I've seen you somewhere you don't like it, so you'll find you another job. And I'm just telling you the truth. It's just that you guys have done so bad by this city. Look at what's going on with the police department, the water department, just about every department that you name. And then look at this commission, this Civil Service Commission. In my opinion, they're outlaws because they're outside of the law. Almost every board person had. I don't understand it. You guys are loyal to person like the Republicans are loyal to Donald Trump. I don't understand this. I mean, he's a failed administrator. They both are failed administrator. We cannot, for the sanity, for us to remain rational, viable, we have to change. We don't have no other choice. History's on the side of us. We're going to be judged harshly by history if we don't get rid of Percy Bland and his administration. We got to. And folks, the way we have to do that is we have to exercise our right to vote. We got to vote. So I know y'all hear me talking. Yes, I'm supportive of Western Linderman. Yes, I would want him to be our next mayor. But my concern is that I don't want him to not win. If I got to run in order to make sure he win or one of us win, then that's what I'll do. But I don't want to be in there and be a city council and still have to look at Percy Bland ass. You understand what I'm saying? So we actually need to clean house. We don't need to keep anybody on the city council unless it's Western Linderman, but he's chosen to run for mayor. So now we need five new people. George, we want you gone. You should have been gone. But man, you know you're a racist. You know you're prejudiced. Why don't you just go ahead on and go somewhere where people like you live and they can talk about your racist story, reminisce about the past. But man, this is sickening here. Lo talks about how they found this kid that was missing, how they found him dead, and Percy has yet to make a press conference. See, he don't talk about things that affect us. He don't talk about things that we need to know about. It was a 3-year-old child murdered Why is it that nobody's not talking about that? Now, too bad I ain't found out anything about it, but as soon as I do, I'm going to let you guys know about it. And so we have all these things going on, and we have all these white peoples in position of authority. Man, I mean, when I went down to community development and talked to Solid, Solid was arrogant. This is a white man talking to me. You're not a licensed builder. I know I'm not one, but at least I've been one at some point of time in my life. He's not one and never have been one, but he's around here telling people what they can do with their own property. Folks, this is really, really bad. It'll be okay. You got people like Stephen Redd that's hidden in the back. He's the most educated person at community development. Yes, Stephen Redd is Dr. Stephen Redd, a black man that's in the back, and you got all these uneducated rednecks over him. And he's kind of like in an office, and I ain't saying he's scared to breathe, but he can't do much. They got him. He can't get involved in anything ever since he's been involved with this thing dealing with me. You have people that are over plumbing that are white that don't know anything about plumbing. You have people that are over building that are white that don't know anything about building, never done it. This guy retired from the phone company. Now he's working for the city of Meridian. How is it that white people keep benefiting from us? Percy, you got to go. We are just so dissatisfied with you. Dice, is any more comments that we need to read? What time we got here? Folks, it's 7:04, so it's about time for me to go. I just want to tell everybody I want to thank you for listening in. And y'all be safe until we get back here Thursday. Good evening. Dice Man, play us a song. Take us home. You know what to do.
Teachers, keep on teaching. Preachers, keep on preaching. Words keep on turning. Doesn't bother me too long. Oh no. Lovers, keep on loving. Believers, keep on believing. Sleepers, just stop sleeping. Doesn't won't be too long. Oh no. I'm so